All right, top 5 reasons this is the worst time to negotiate a TV deal. And really only one of these, I think, is the Pac-12's fault. Which, to give them a little bit of a break here. Now, look, they didn't see the signs coming as where other people did. But, these things are kind of out of their control. Number 5, larger properties have deals coming up too, particularly, and thanks for this logo here, the NBA deal is coming up. And ESPN is very involved in that. And a lot of other properties will be very involved in that. And given the way the economics are going, you can see where that would be their larger focus, and that if they have to give more money to the NBA and they're losing money other places, then it's got to come from somewhere, right?
Yep.
So this is, while it's probably not the biggest thing hurting them, or it's not hurting them as much as you could make it hurt them if you really extrapolate it out, it's just not good timing in that the NBA deal is coming up soon. They are going to negotiate that. The NBA TV deal is not going to be something that's negotiated at the 11th hour like this deal is. So they're having to navigate with that as the NBA does that. There's Notre Dame and NBC is a thing we talked about yesterday. So there are other things coming up, and you are just not as attractive as they are, but that's not your fault. You wouldn't be as attractive as the NBA was, even if the league was still in its current construction, in its previous construction.
Yeah, I mean, they're the big baddie on the block that's right around the corner. About this time, a little after this time next year, they'll be will have finished their negotiating window, the exclusive window with Turner and also with ESPN. But there's talk about having a third package, and there's talk about them being viewed in any number of ways. I think it's going to be something that's it's already in the billions, but it's going to be just add some more billions to it, and it's going to be in like the closing in on the 20s of billions, I think, when all is said and probably done. And can be corrected there if I'm wrong, because I think they're like 17, or maybe they're looking – anyway, they're going to be like in the 20s of billions most likely with this new deal, and all over the place from the sounds of it, streaming, everything. So, yeah, that's going to be a fascinating deal to see negotiated and to see what they end up with on the other side, because – the demand is super high. It's really weird, too, because the regular season means absolutely nothing in so many ways. Like, as far as just flipping on a game, none of them feel like they're all that important unless you're a fan of those teams or you're a fan of the players and the matchup itself. But I don't view it as, like, every Sunday, and that's probably because there's games every night, and there's,
Well, load management alone tells the teams
has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, no, and that's why that's what makes the NBA unique and maybe makes you go, oh, now you're going to play hard.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they're not doing that during the year, but the load management, which is the Spurs almost like started that.
That's their fault.
Yeah. And
for all intents and purposes,
when they had Parker and Ginobili and Duncan or whatever. But, now you're going to play your hardest. And I get it because you're playing for a championship. But I do think but the ratings of that Warriors and Sacramento game, and the Warriors, that right there, they're going to get what they want. The NBA will.
Yeah, I get it. It's just funny that they very clearly do not put 100% effort into that regular season, which is the biggest bulk of their season. But it doesn't matter because people still tune in regardless. And they're a huge brand, so that they're going to be making so much money here in the next year, but a little bit more of a wait.
And getting bigger in the social media era, where it's the league where you can really know the players the most.
Has a lot to do with it. Yeah. I think that's why it overcomes any other deficiencies, is because of reasons like that.
Yeah. Number 4, the RSNs are collapsing. Bally Sports collapsing and not being able to pay NBA teams and pay MLB teams for that is not good news for the Pac-12. They weren't really going to be on any of these RSNs necessarily, other than like picking up games here and there. But like they weren't going to be on those. But this now creates a scramble one for. So say you're trying to buy, you're in Arizona and your local stations are trying to buy the rights for the Diamondbacks now, or the Suns, or all that stuff. So this is more money that's going to not you, because it's created a rush on some of these things, because now Bally's not going to be able to pay these. Like the Rangers, I'm very curious to see where they wind up, because Bally's not going to be able to pay these people. They keep pushing the deadline and all these different things and declaring Chapter 11 and all that stuff. Major League Baseball is not going to care.
I do think that they owed the Rangers a ton of money. The Rangers network, which is on Bally's, Fox Sports Southwest,
Bally's,
that's right. they had to make a payment, and they did. I think they're doing that, but I don't know if that's going to last another month or two.
I mean, if they have to keep doing this and like,
well, there's a reason why they're going bankrupt.
If they're riding the edge, then it just eventually Major League Baseball is going to do something else with that, and that's going to affect your total media dollars in your market.
Yeah, I want to go back and mention talking about the NBA. Their deal they're on now is $24 billion. So 20s of billions, they'll be.
Let's just say
bond that.
Add 10 to it.
But I had 17 in my mind for some reason, but no, they're already at 24, and they're about to get to launch the new one.
Yeah, add 10.
Yeah, at least.
Let's go ahead and add 10, but just as a starting point.
And you know the NFL's is like $100 billion.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
crazy.
Yeah. Number 3, big companies putting out other fires. ESPN, Fox Sports. Golly, this happened to me a lot today.
Fox Sports, big companies putting out other fires.
Thank you, Craig. Putting out other fires. Look, right now, this has nothing to do with anything the Pac-12 has, other than the fact that I'm getting choked up. I'm just emotional because
Is it because of my birthday?
It is. You're 64, and I can't believe it.
Or there's an unknown allergen in that cookie cake.
Yeah, something like that.
Where's Raymond?
Yeah, where's Raymond when you need him? But look, the writers just went on strike yesterday. So the big presidents of these companies like Disney and Fox are going to have to go to the negotiating table and deal with that too. So there's a lot of things going on. Again, the writers going on strike is not the Pac-12's fault. Not at all. But it's a thing that's happening around them that while they're trying to negotiate their deal, they're probably not getting the full attention that, say, the Big Ten or even the Big 12 got.
Yeah, and there is also just the forecasts. I'm talking more globally. Recently about the lack of growth we're probably going to see across the board in terms of business and things like that and profits and just everything. Like I know that the big businesses will still make all of their greedy little profits, but like just worldwide, we're starting to see a slowdown. So yeah, just like the timing of that as well on top of it, and then the struggles that are already going on in Hollywood. And yes, it's a lot. There's a lot of things adding up.
Yeah, it's funny that the one side of that writer strike, the big studios are saying, look, streaming's not, we're losing money on it. And the writers are saying, look, that's not our fault that you're losing money. You paid us to write these things. You need to pay us.
Do we not remember like 2 years ago, especially during the pandemic, like everybody's sitting at home and they're just launching studio stuff. They're throwing millions of dollars at like everything known to man. And then here we are a couple years later and they're like, we spent all that money on you. It's like, well, you were the ones that kind of started the whole thing, actually. But.
Yeah. The best way I saw it put by a writer is that they want to pay writers to do things they may not produce, and they want to pay them less for it. And what he said was, look, if you go into a deli and order a sandwich, and you say, how much is the turkey sandwich? And they say it's $10. And then you say, how much if I don't eat it? Well, so it doesn't matter if you don't eat it or not. I already made the sandwich. Here's the materials. That's what they're trying to, the writers are trying to make sure that if they write something, they get paid the same for it, no matter if they wind up getting produced or not. Yeah. They're trying to get the same rate. Number 2. Streaming profitability is up for a debate. I mean, it really is. I mean, nobody, look, Prime's doing well. Apple's doing well because they always do. But Peacock's not doing great. Peacock's going to lose $6 billion this year. Lose it. And, somebody's going to get a big bonus there and other people are going to get fired, but that's how things seem to work. ESPN hasn't figured it out yet. Nobody's really figured out this world yet. So if you're going to the streaming world and you're saying, yes, we're going to do this, you better wind up with somebody who doesn't care that you're probably going to lose their money.
Kim Coulter brought this up, and I did see a slight increase. Is ESPN increasing their streaming costs? ESPN Plus? Did anyone else get that bill?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm even active on that one right now because I might just have like the regular Hulu or something at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, or it just charges it, so I don't know. But it does feel like everybody's like ticking up $1 or $2.
Yeah.
I will say on that, though, they just in their last round of cuts fired the main brain behind ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of weird to fire that guy and then tick up the charges. But then again, that's America, so it wouldn't be all that weird.
Yeah. $6.99 was your idea, Doug.
Yeah.
You're done. I don't know.
And now because of your mistake, we have to charge the American people even more money for this monthly subscription.
How dare you? Yeah. And number 1, and this one is kind of their fault, but the LA market is not yours anymore, and guess what? It's never going to be again. Like, that's the other part of it. I think they may know part A of what I just said. They know that LA is not theirs anymore. I don't think the Pac-12 knows that it's never going to be theirs again.
Ever.
It's not yours.
Never say ever, never.
But
yeah.
I mean, it's not like for the foreseeable future, while most of us in this room are probably alive, the Pac-12 is not going to have the college football, college athletics market that in Los Angeles anymore.
Of whatever it was in the first place.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Whatever they had there before, that was whatever the draw was for the networks to give it to them before, is gone, and it's not coming back.
By the way, back on the subscription, Catalina, they're growing their subscription base, ESPN. Losing money is due to how much they're investing in the back-end infrastructure. So there's where some of the money is going to help perhaps make it even bigger, better, faster, stronger.
Yeah, I mean, and I've heard some of that the last couple of years, but, you know, there does come a point where you're just burning it, and you wonder when that time is to start to recoup some of that. Because, yeah, some of these are just initially launching or correcting your mistakes of you threw hundreds of millions of dollars at a bunch of just in-house films that didn't do nearly as well as you thought, and so you just set all that on fire, basically, and they're trying to now learn from that and go like, oh, we're not going to do that as much. So, but you're right, yeah, investment, you got to spend money to make money, right? And that there is some of that going on.
Am I going to watch a movie on Netflix in 2020 when there's no sports on and nothing else that I would probably not watch now? Yes.
Right.
But when you make the sequel to that movie that was very popular in the time where I wasn't allowed to leave, am I going to watch it? No, because I can leave now.
Right. Yeah.
Like that movie was not the reason I stayed home. That movie was on because I was made to stay at home. Now that I cannot be at home, that movie can just be there.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's true. Yeah. I mean, I definitely have watched far less of everything and anything compared to that time period when Netflix was, I would assume, at its absolute most boom period imaginable, because when else are they going to have that many people sitting at home, like you said? And as far as the LA market, I mean, they'll still have some share of it, you know, because there are a lot of transplants and things like that. But no, you don't have the flagships there anymore. The flagships are relocating, you know, or changing the signs out front. So yeah, you know, however much they had of that in the first place, they'll still maintain some of it. But as far as that being their actual footprint, no, it doesn't count anymore. And that is a tough blow, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, I think part of it, like, there's probably a lot of people like, oh, we have lots of alums in LA. Yeah, but your school's not there.
You don't own it. Yeah,
your school's not there.
Yeah.
Like, yes, Colorado, you might have tons of alums in LA, but your school's in Colorado.
There's lots of pro sports in LA, and that's what most people care about. You're right, but in college sports terms, the schools are in Los Angeles.
I would still like to know what the needle was, the number was. It's a pro sports town, despite having, obviously, USC and UCLA. I wonder what the number was when it comes to what USC was drawing in LA market. Oh, how much? Obviously, we saw the Notre Dame game with USC was a big number at $6+ million, but how much of that was LA based? As far as a city that's very busy, there's always something big going on, like 5 different things, and how much of that was from the LA market? I don't have that answer. I would be interested to be able to get that one day.
Well, it sounds like you got homework tonight.
I
so
do.
Enjoy that.
I got to make sure your allergies
birthday.
are fine and you can cough.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's my birthday. I'm not doing homework tonight.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Emery.